Welcome back to Walk-Ins Welcome. I'm your host, Nick Horde. I've got Michael Ray with me today, as always, and we help urgent cares and medical practices triple their revenue through better digital marketing and better patient experience.
No, keep it going.
Oh, come on, man. You really want to put bloopers in here like that? Go.
All right, we're being honest right now. We're just going to keep it going. And Hannah, who helps with the production side of this, don't cut it out because I think it makes it more real. Don't you agree, everybody?
Oh, man. Send us an email. This isn't email at this point. This is just going to be hate mail. But I'm excited about our topic today. Whether I get the intro right or not is irrelevant. Michael Ray, what do we have on tap?
All right. So this one's a little different. So basically, I don't know if, just to kind of give a little context, it's March 11th, 2022. COVID is not as much as a thing as it was just a few months ago. We have lots of urgent cares we work with. We are seeing some trends going down in terms of demand, and we want to bring that to the table today. Because here's the thing. When things are good, you don't think about stuff, right? You don't think about your processes. You don't think about getting more patients in the door because you're so busy. Who cares? At some point, the good becomes bad. Whatever happens there. Are you ready for that? Are you ready in 2 months that demand, those revenue numbers that you were used to for a long time disappear? And now you have people that were supposed to handle this extra influx of patients. It's now gone. What happened?
You know, Michael, there's a lot of markets that are experiencing this type of business shift right now. There were businesses when COVID first hit in 2020, that March and April shutdown, where there were tons of businesses that went out completely. And then the medical systems, like, through the roof. Food industry, like grocery stores, through the roof, because all the retail closed. I mean, obviously Walmart and Target survived, and I guess Lowe's and Home Depot. But what we saw is this increase in the medical world. You couldn't hardly even get time off at all.
Well, I mean, I saw an article the other day where a lot of these mask-making companies that sprung up for COVID are now bankrupt and out of business already.
I don't mean to say good. That's not my goal.
Well, it's a good indicator
Right.
that we're shifting away from a pandemic, which is great to hear. But that is the reality of business, right? Just because it's awesome now doesn't mean it's going to be awesome in 6 months. And then you have something like a pandemic that's not normal. I mean, we're still feeling the effects of it today with supply chain. You still can't buy a car for what it's actually worth and all these things. But this is just the reality that we're in. And I think some people get this, business is great, I'm doing all the right things, and then all of a sudden it's not. You got to think about that.
So let me make this quick statement, Michael. If your business is dependent on a once-in-a-lifetime thing like a pandemic to survive, you don't have a business. You have a gimmick.
Yeah, it's limited. It's going to go away. Like the pandemics are not a constant thing. They come and go, right? And they're all a little different when they do come. So yeah, if you're running an urgent care or any type of medical practice that if you look at the revenue numbers and like over half or maybe 30% of its revenues because of COVID, you're going to start hurting this summer a lot.
So I want to make a quick parallel, Michael. So what's happening right now is in the world of real estate, you have there's so many bids on a house right now. Like you're making so much more money than what the actual property is worth. You have droves of people that are wanting to become realtors.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So what happened during the pandemic is how many urgent cares were open, how many primary cares were open and overloaded because of this one little surge. So what's going to happen now is you're going to have to get really, really good at what you do to survive a post-pandemic world. Because I know that there's a lot of people banking on, we're at Omicron. There's, 25 other letters of the Greek alphabet that I'm positive the government would love to use. Okay, but the reality is it's going away, right? Yeah. So you still have to run your business whether there's a pandemic or not. So we need to talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, what are you doing right now to prepare for normal business? I'll put in air quotes, normal business, because it's coming. And is your business improperly set up? Like, are you actually doing all the things right now that will be effective when COVID is no longer a thing? Is that actually happening? Do you have certain processes? Are you overstaffed or understaffed? Are you preparing for the next whatever that comes down the line? Are you separating yourself from your competitors so you don't get caught in the same pool that they're about to be caught in? You have to think through all of this.
You know who's going to win?
Who's that?
The loudest.
Absolutely.
Had a great conversation. I really, really upset a mortgage guy. I guess it was about 2 or 3 years ago. He was just going on and on about how awful Rocket Mortgage was and all these different things about that. And it came around where I had an opportunity to speak, and we were in a group, and it probably wasn't very good timing, Michael, but I said, do you want to know why Rocket Mortgage is winning and you're not? They're louder than you.
Oh yeah.
They advertise. They're putting their name out there.
Take the thing about Rocket Mortgage. Traditionally, what they're doing, like we're getting you a mortgage, right? But the approach is a little different, and they're making some changes to make it better, right? So, that's a disruptor to the industry. But like you said, if you're still doing that's the thing I cannot stand. When businesses keep doing the same thing over and over again for years and years and years, thinking things will be fine. Eventually, they're not going to be. No. Every business has to evolve and change over time accordingly. And the ones that grab the right change early on, the early adopters, have the biggest opportunity to have new success.
So I know it sounds like we're all over the place today, but again, I want to bring some more examples of how businesses have shifted and how they're going to continue to do this business permanently a different way. Chick-fil-A.
Drive-through.
90%. All of it during the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
You know what they've noticed? It's funny. I was in a mastermind group with a Chick-fil-A manager.
Ah, but that was interesting.
It was, he's in my mastermind every time we mastermind. So, but what he was telling me, he's like, we've opened up our doors again and people can come in, but they're not. No, they don't want to.
It's too convenient.
Yeah. They just want it. Like our drive-through is more effective and more efficient and more cost effective than going in. I don't have to pay people to clean the tables and all these. Like I'm not staffing for that the way I used to because people aren't coming in. Well, your urgent care has a way of doing things now that's probably different. They probably are used to you having numbered spots. Your customers are going to be in a frame of mind where they want to pull into a parking spot. They want to call you when they get there. You're going to come out to their car. And I know that's not going to service every little thing. That was done for COVID and it was done for safety reasons. But what other opportunities are you going to be able to implement that came because of COVID, but will carry over into this post-COVID world?
Or even what services can you put more concentration on now? Like what are the things that people are going to start caring about now that they can't care about COVID as much? Just because it's not as often as it once was. You talk about the drive-through thing. I would love to see an urgent care with a drive-through. Like not because you think of
that would be awesome.
Well, you already got pharmacies with drive-throughs. We're trained that we can get any service we want out of our car. I can't just pull up and stick my arm out. And I remember my dad, he used to get allergy shots, and they got to the point where he got them like once a week or once a month. And he's like, can I just not get out of my car? Oh, yeah. So he would pull up, and he would call, hey, I'm here. And the lady would come out with a syringe, tap his arm on his car, and he'd leave.
That sounds like a controlled environment. Interesting. I wasn't expecting you to say that.
I don't know if that is 100%. I'm not going to say who, what, when, where, but that's what my dad did for allergy shots, and he got it down to a science.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do, and they're accommodating your dad. I love that. All right. So here's the thing. So it's shifting out there. We know that. Levels of COVID are going down, and what we're experiencing in the urgent care world is we are seeing a massive drop in demand.
Yep.
Okay. So what do you do when demand drops? I've got 3 things that I want to talk through. I'm sure you've got some things of your own, but the first thing that I want to tell you to do is when demand drops, or really just all the time anyway, but advertise.
Yeah.
Advertise your business.
Remind people that you're there.
Yes. Run Google ads, run Facebook ads. You need to get in front of people and let them know that you're here to serve them outside of their COVID needs.
Yeah, I mean, and you need to pick services that you got that as an urgent care owner, as a medical practice, that separates you from the competition a little bit. Or maybe maybe you're in an ideal location for a certain group of people, and you go out and target them. The more specific your message is, the more relatable, the more likely they're going to respond to it. Because if you say in your messaging via ads or commercials or whatever you do, if you say, like, hey, XYZ neighborhood, we're here to serve you. And then like, oh, they're talking to me. I think I hear this a lot even on radio where you have the radio stations, hey, we're here in Birmingham. Hey, Vestavia, we're here serving you.
That's right.
Because it's that reminder, like, hey,
I got a story whenever you're done.
well, I want to hear a story, but like, there's that reminder. Now I feel like it's a bad suggestion.
No, it's fantastic. It's funny. I can't wait to tell it.
Anyway, but that's that part of, we got to make it feel local and real, because ultimately, if you're an individual urgent care or just a couple of locations and you're competing against a larger entity that's more corporate, you have to lean into your local. You really have to. You have to show that off. You have to be really good at what you do, and then have that personalization around it.
So I worked in talk radio. You know that before my days of a
I feel like
digital
I
marketer.
opened up a Pandora's box.
Well, it's what you said just then. Our radio station was so big, like our signal was so big, we had to say, "Hey Huntsville, thanks for listening." hey Birmingham, thanks. We're glad you're here. And one of our shows on the weekend was called Shop Talk, and his name was Jim Moore, and he hated those commercials that we ran. He hated them. And so during his show, he would say, "Hey Coleman, pull my finger." Like, those are the kind of ads that he would run. Or he would say, "Hey Vestavia, what are you wearing?" Like, those are the kind of ads that he would run, because just to make fun of the rest of the radio station. And he got more response off of those things, which kind of, like, in the advertising world, if all of the urgent cares are doing this one thing, maybe do it different.
Yeah, don't be so serious sometimes. Have a little fun with it. I have to say this is something that's a little frustrating in our world, in the world of advertisement and stuff like that. When we have people say, well, I just want to be just like that company. Like,
I feel that on a personal level, Michael Ray. Thanks for pulling that out.
but right? Like,
I know, I feel that way.
Well, I mean, I remember, like, I do photography and stuff like that on the side, and then we'll have people say, well, I saw this, I want to look just like that. Can we get a photo just like that? Well, yeah, but is that you, or are you just trying to imitate somebody that you were trying to become?
Right.
Like, become your own a little bit. Yes, get some inspiration and things like that from people that have done it before, but become your own. Be your own. Like, separate yourself. You don't want to be XYZ Urgent Care 2.0. Like, you want to be your own urgent care, your own medical practice.
I heard it said like this: being authentic doesn't guarantee results, but being inauthentic guarantees failure.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've heard that in the marketing world, and it's absolutely correct. Like, if you're look at our main website, nickthemarketer.com. We don't look like any other marketing agency out there. We got, I don't know, high-fiving each other, stupid pictures up there. Like, we just have some fun with it. Anyway, let's keep going. I want to keep the podcast moving along. So advertise, get your name out there. If you have $1,000 ad spend budget, make it 3. If you have a $3,000 ad spend budget, make it 5. Increase your ad spend. But Nick, we're not making as much money as we were before. Well, I'm trying to help you fix it. Spend more money.
Yeah, I mean, so marketing budgets is that classic, the first thing to go.
Stupidest thing to go, but the first thing to go.
The first thing to go when there's budget concerns, and then it's the first thing to add back when you don't need it. So
Right.
it's amazing, because if you can afford it, do it. Because the reality is, if you stop, okay, let's just play devil's advocate. You stop. Your money goes down, your budget goes down, everything goes down, and you stop all advertisement, period. Do you think you're going to have more business coming in the door when you stopped?
No, you're going to stop the bleeding, but you're not injecting anything back into your business.
No, like, you'll stop that. Like, let's just say you're spending $5,000 a month. You'll stop the $5,000, but where's the return going to come now? Like, are you expecting? Well, I've stopped the $5,000, but I'm not really getting more patients, so I stopped one thing, but I haven't increased the other side. Because remember, a business is made of revenue and expenses.
And hopefully profit whenever you get all that done.
Right.
All right, so advertise. Increase your marketing budget. Do more and different things than you were doing before. Reactivate your database. We do in Urgent Care Marketing Pros called a database reactivation. And here's all that is. You have a list of people that have done business with you over the past 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 years. Okay, hopefully you've collected their names, emails, and phone numbers, right? You can throw that into a Constant Contact or a MailChimp or call us or whatever.
Or whatever you probably have some software that sends out text messages.
Yeah.
Boom. You can have an opportunity to remind them of who you are.
Send something out. Talk to the people that have done business with you. That is a very low cost barrier of entry. And by the way, Michael, that's one of the fastest ways for us to create wins for our own clients is a database reactivation. Hey, give us and we're HIPAA compliant, so that helps. But hey, give us a list of your patients. We'll upload it into our system, and we will do an email blast or a text message blast or whatever. And we're going to say, hey, we're still here for you. How are you feeling? Hey, why don't you come in here and do X, Y, and Z, or whatever it is that you need to get your name out there. Come up with some creative ideas. Meet with your team. They know what they're talking about.
Well, and so I think there's one thing that I've noticed that a lot of doctor offices will promote that they're not resistant to promoting is they have a new doctor or a new nurse or somebody new that's going to represent the company well, and they want to communicate that. So just remind yourself, like, let's say in the past 3 months. And here's the thing, new is a relative term because new could be 3 months ago. It could be a year ago. New is new to the person that's never knew about this. So that's a lot of news in there. But for instance, I joke about chambers and ribbon cuttings. Their companies have been around for 50 years, and they had a ribbon cutting just last week. It's not a new company. They just wanted to reintroduce themselves to the community. Same thing with a doctor. You had a brand new doctor ad right before COVID, but you never promoted them. Send that out. Hey, we have a doctor you probably don't know about. Let's talk about them for just a second. And it's amazing because people get this mindset of, well, this is old news to me. Why would I want to push this out? Well, it's not old news to the person that doesn't know anything about you. One of the things you probably see on Twitter, hey, check out this article, blah, blah, and you look at the article date once you click on it, it's like, that was 2 years ago, but it's still relevant.
Right.
So, yeah, there's if you're thinking to yourself, I don't know what I could talk about in terms of pushing out a message right now, let's just look at what's been going on the past 2 years, because that's all new stuff, and then things that you want to focus on moving forward, you could talk about that.
Right.
Yep.
That's good stuff, man. Last thing I've got, reviews. I know we talk about it all the time.
So important.
Increase your reviews. So there's a whole group of people that you haven't reached out and asked for a review, or there's a whole group of people that you've asked for a review that never responded. So reactivate that as well. Like, let's reach out and ask for the people who've done business with us. Hey, would you mind leaving us a review? We want to do better. We want to get your honest feedback. Leave us a review. Mm-hmm. What that is, it's not really even about the review at this point. Hopefully you're already getting reviews. What I'm talking about is another touch. Like, this is another opportunity to reach out to somebody that's done business with you. And hopefully that opens up an opportunity for them to be reminded of your business.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right? So we want to advertise, we want to reactivate our database, and we want to ask for more reviews.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. I know if you probably listen to this podcast, like, I think y'all have talked about some of this at some point. We have. But now you got to look at it from a different light, because I'm telling you right now, if you're listening to this in March, April of 2022, you're going to feel the pain coming soon, because whatever revenue that you were gaining from potential COVID, because here's the thing, like, well, I didn't run that many COVID tests or didn't have many COVID patients, but you had people that were very aware of but if they don't feel well, and then they had employers saying, you need to go get tested, I don't want you back in this office, and they end up having the flu or a cold or something instead. Well, now that the obligation of I need to go get to a doctor because of what's going on is going away. Like, if I know, like, it's just a cold, I'm not going to worry about it, that's what's happening. That's coming. And so I just think, just telling you right now, if you don't have a plan in place going into the summer, you're just going to feel a lot of it coming. A lot of it's going to go away.
All right. So in the past 17, 18 episodes that we've done, Michael, I've never done a commercial for Urgent Care Marketing Pros. The reason I'm doing
we deserve one.
The reason I'm doing a commercial right now for Urgent Care Marketing Pros is because you're seeing a drop. You have a real need. You understand that change is coming. The default level demand has gone away, or is going away quickly. I think it was reported on the news that 90% decrease in COVID cases across the United States. 90% of your built-in audience just disappeared.
Yep.
Okay, so you're going to need some help. And I want to tell you that Urgent Care Marketing Pros is here and available to help you put together a digital marketing strategy. Our digital marketing strategy, Michael, it's free. What does that look like?
Yeah, so we kind of go in and break down of where you guys are currently digitally, like what's working and what's not. We look at where the demands are and what should you focus on first. Like, obviously we'd love to do everything we can for you, but budget constraints and things like that, we'll pick out the most effective way to get going and to get more patients back into your door.
We can put together a mobile-first, high-converting website if you don't already have one. We can run Facebook, social media ads, TikTok ads, YouTube ads,
Google ads, SEO.
We do search engine optimization, and we do social media posting. We can package this all in a bundle for you, and we can help you get a plan together. Okay, but Nick, this is, Urgent Care Marketing Pros. Do y'all do this rinse and repeat thing? Yes and no. Yes and no. So I think it's important to talk about that.
We repeat the good.
Right? So here's the default position. Like, we know what works.
Yeah, you don't have to pay for the experiment.
Okay.
The experiment's been experimented with, and we know what's working and what's not, and we're
doing it all over the United States.
Yeah, like it's not just in Birmingham. We have places all over. So and it's amazing because there are unique differences to the country. Like there are things that are more important than others. And we even see, going from west to east, like this demand drop shifting, right? It's like it's not all happening at one time. It's different parts of the country it's happening to, but now we're starting to see it across the board. So we saw it kind of coming a few months ago, but now it's obvious.
Right. So go to urgentcaremarketingpros.com. We'll give you a free digital footprint and show you what you look like online, and we will help you put together a plan. If you use us, great. If not, you got a free plan to help you grow your urgent care, your primary care, your medical practice. We can do it. If you're serving patients, we can help you grow your practice.
And I'm going to throw an offer out there. I've not been approved for this, but that's okay. If you reach out and you say, I listened to you guys on this podcast, we'll waive a setup fee.
Waive the setup fee, approved.
There you go.
He's right. He did not tell me about that, but that's okay. Like, we genuinely want to help you. We know the changes are coming, and we're trying to get out ahead of it before we get overwhelmed. Being in the urgent care space.
Yeah.
Last call to action for this, and then we're going to wrap up, Michael, is if this is a benefit and this is helping you and your team become better marketers and helping you grow your medical practice, I want to invite you to invite other people into our conversation. Share Walk-Ins Welcome. Share it. Put it out on your social media. If you tag us, we're going to give you a shout out on the podcast. We'll let everybody know, hey, so-and-so shared our podcast. Shout out to you.
Oh, absolutely. And then if it's something that you feel like you have good information, maybe you should be a guest. Just talk to us. Let's see what you got. Right now, with our process that we talk to you beforehand, see if it all makes sense. And if it does, then we move forward and put you on the show.
Awesome, man. Well, look, we're going to close out with that. We really do want to help you triple your revenue, and I hope this is a benefit and a blessing to you. And we have more great episodes coming up in the future. But until then, Michael.
All right, we'll catch you on the next one.
We'll see you later. Thanks.